lovely weather. As a bonus feature, really, for you Astra folk, I thought I'd just talk through some of the little subtle features that I've noticed about this car that I've not mentioned in the review, and they're more like Doug DeMuro quirks and features. The first one is that when you're using the cable to plug in Android Auto, this thing here, you have to plug it in the center console cubby. There's a USB port in there, and I must have been using it, but I just hadn't noticed. There's a little channel for the cable to run through so that when you close this cubby, it doesn't get trapped, it doesn't damage the cable, and it means that the cubby lid can actually shut properly. I mean, that's just like quite a thoughtful little attention to detail. Another one that a few people have mentioned actually in the comments is the hidden shark, which is a funny little gimmick that basically if you take the cup holders out, underneath there's a depiction of a shark. Apparently the shark thing goes all the way back to 2004, where the chief designer at Vauxhall Opel was designing reinforcing ribs for the glove box lid, and his kid walked in and said, well, why don't you draw a shark? He was coming up with various designs and the kid suggested a shark, and he just went ahead and did it, and from then on they've been doing that kind of thing since. Another thing I like, and I'm not sure if it's on all Astras, so maybe you can let me know if you've got it on yours, is the ambient lighting that you get under the door handle and armrest of both front doors. And it's basically quite a nice subtle white LED that runs the length of the door. At night time, I'm going to have to film this later when it's dark to show you. It's nice because it doubles up as like a nice ambient lighting that looks kind of cool. But also when you open the door, it alerts other drivers and people at night that your door's open and they can see the door. One which is really useful is this setting screen in the center console. You've got lots of things like that you can change, like all the different auto features of the car, like for the climate control. You know, you might want the rear heated screen to just come on if the car feels like it needs demisting, so you can turn that on. The auto heated seats that I mentioned in the review, you can switch them on and off. You've also got like personalization by driver, which is quite cool. I've never done it myself, but I think it's based on the key that you use. If you use the other key, then you can have other settings. So it's like give the key to your partner or someone else who drives the car, and they can have their own settings. The auto door locks, because when I first got this car I didn't realise that I thought it didn't automatically lock the doors when you drive off, and I thought, well, cars have been doing that for years and it's quite a nice safety feature to have just for peace of mind, and this car wasn't doing it, but as I went through the settings I realised that I could just turn it on. So it's nice to always have the option. And another one is when you put the car in reverse and the wipers are on, then the rear wiper comes on, and I'll just put them on now, and then there it goes. Just put that into reverse and didn't actually switch the rear wiper on. Now it's a cool feature. Cars have had that for a while, but the fact that you can like switch that on and off in the settings is quite nice, because inevitably when this car's 10 or 15 years old and been neglected for a while, the rear wiper will just be a piece of rusty metal with the rubber just hanging off it, so it'd be nice to go in there and turn it off. So yeah, thanks for watching. Before you just turn off, because I know people turn off as soon as I say thanks for watching, I'm going to put one of the quirks at the end, so if you watch through to the end you'll see that. And if you've learned something about the car, just hit that like button. Thanks very much again for everyone who's watched all these videos about the Astra, and I'll see you in the next video. This car actually has real fuel dial and a real temperature gauge dial, and that is a bit of a bugbear of mine, because a lot of cars for a long time now have just had blocks of fuel. So you just have 8 blocks maybe, and you're like, okay, so I'm down to 2 blocks now. Maybe that'll be enough to get home. Probably will. And then you set off, and you realise that second block was almost depleted, so it just disappears as soon as you set off, and you're like, oh right, well now I'm down to 1 block. It's like, how much even is that? And it's like, so it's like to have an actual dial that moves in an analog fashion to tell you where your fuel is, a very accurate level, is just appreciated. So long may they continue putting in real fuel dials, and it's something actually I noticed the new Corsa has a real fuel dial as well, so yeah, good, keep that up, keep that going.